broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
That's our cue.
There'll be days like this. There'll be days
Just the two of us, Fern.
Welcome to the Manzo'd With Children after show. This is season 2, episode 7, Dazed but Not Confused. I'm your host tonight, Fern, Ronay. It's just the two of us. I am joined by
Grant Rants is here to talk about Manzo'd With Children.
And Megan is off tonight, but she will be back next week, and we'll have even more to talk about starting next week. Juicy. We can't wait for Teresa checks in.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be awesome. But tonight we are talking about Strictly Manzo'd, and it seems the boys are growing up, sort of. They went on a trip, and Mommy was nervous, of course. She thought they were going to come back.
You say Mommy, it makes me laugh. I'm like, these like grown kids, but it's kind of true.
It's
like
so
that's
true.
how she
She's
is.
Like, say no to drugs. She's like a flashback. Everything about this show is like a flashback, a throwback. She was like back to the 80s. Say no to drugs.
Yeah.
She's nervous, wreck. You know, they're leaving for Colorado to go on this business trip. So let's talk about Colorado. I thought they would have a more wild time. It was pretty tame. What did you think of the trip?
I mean, I wanted to see a little bit more. Like, I want to see them like maybe go out, like have some like brother bonding time, like go out to the club or something. Just, it must have been fairly easy to produce. It was, I liked seeing like the was it Medicine Man?
Yes, Medicine Man.
Yeah, I liked seeing that portion because it was actually like something like interesting. Like, I don't smoke, I'm not interested, but it was something that was interesting because like that's very specific to Denver, and the average person, including myself, doesn't know anything about that. Like, they don't. It's not like readily like we walk into like a greenhouse, like 3 greenhouses full of weed.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
Right. Doesn't happen in LA. I mean, it could, but we wouldn't know about it. It wouldn't be legal. So it was really interesting to see them try to, sell whatever it is, the spray.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to BLK? Do we know?
Yeah, they really didn't touch upon that.
No, and then Christopher mentioned, I'll never forget, in season 1 that he wanted to open a car wash that's also a strip joint. Yeah, which he never did that. So, and he's writing a children's book. I mean, they've got their hands in a lot of pots, but I would like to see something come to fruition. And they're good kids. I hope it works out for them.
So I guess the initial goal was to get some testing plants to see if the substance would yield quicker growth.
Right.
And the guy seemed pretty interested. I like he was walking around his cargo shorts. Yeah. Like this guy, it's such like, what did they say? It was like a multi-million or almost $1 billion.
$1 million a month, I think they
$1 million
said.
A month. And this guy's wearing a t-shirt and cargo shorts. Like, yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Figured it out.
Yeah. So he seemed pretty cool. And then that other girl, they showed this girl who was like eating the edibles, and she's like, I float through life. I just go through the day. I'm like, what's that like?
I know. I was like, I love how Chris was like, you seem pretty happy. Yeah, they're so funny. I hope it works out for them. It seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
BLK didn't seem like a good idea. I would never drink black water, but the way they describe the spray, I think it seems like a good idea. I hope it works out.
Yeah, there wasn't a market for black water.
Right.
But I mean, this is a growing market. They're going where the money is. Clearly, something's going on, and they were lucky to get the deal they got.
Yeah.
We shall see. But to me, I was a little confused because they were showing this vat of liquid, and don't they already have what they're trying to sell them? Or they already have like a
something
boost?
that makes it grow faster?
Yeah.
I don't know. He seemed interested, but you know more about producing. Do you think he just agreed to be on the show to... Is he a retailer, or is he... It seems like he has this, he's growing it directly. I don't know who he's selling to, but I guess it's always good to get your name out there.
I mean, they said it's a pretty big name over there. I mean, it was they picked him up in a nice Porsche.
So you might as well of it. So I hope it works out for them, though. But that was their big thing. They were going on a business trip. They're growing up. And speaking of growing up, Lauren's getting married.
Don't we know it?
It's all that she talks about. That's what happens though when you have a wedding. Sometimes people get a little crazy. But I was cracking up because they were showing the back and forth of her at the trying on diamond jewelry, and that's the most exciting thing to her. I think she's more excited to try on the jewelry than to get married.
Yeah.
And then Al takes Vito golfing and gives him some advice, which I thought was very good advice, which was you get what you can afford. Don't let Lauren talk you into things you can't afford. So that was actually a real moment. I felt like that was actually good advice.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the wedding planning? Do you think it seems like they're in love? Do you think this isn't, speaking of producing, doesn't seem like a wedding for the show? I mean, I don't think they would go that far. I think they're legit in love.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought that we were going to get a break from the wedding planning in this episode because it's been a lot. And, I get that's what's going on in their lives and all that, but it just seemed in the previews, and the majority of this episode was based more around the sons. Yeah. And I was expecting to I think this would be a smart break, actually. Yeah. Because we know the trip is coming up, followed by the wedding and the finale. So we're like, this would be a good place to stop.
Yeah.
But no, they kept it going. And, and
because not enough happened in Colorado. They should have gotten high and ended up lost somewhere, but nothing like that happened.
They didn't show them smoke. Right. I mean, which I'm fine with doing because we saw in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when they went over to Amsterdam, they had a whole thing of will you or won't you eat the brownie? We saw the whole thing. So it's okay, we don't need to play around that, these guys don't do it. Of course, come on. So, not a huge shock. But the wedding planning, I believe that it's pretty real.
Yeah.
And that the wedding is, a legit thing. I loved, Meg and I talked last week about the mother-in-law, the future mother-in-law, Denise, I believe her name is. So we get a good kick out of her, and she's very real. She's very real. I don't think she's put on any airs. So yeah, she's really all about this wedding too. Yeah, it's a lot,
I think
though.
It would be easy to be intimidated by Caroline, and she's not.
Yeah,
I love her.
Yeah.
She is real. I was gonna say she's a good character, but she's not a character. I think this is her personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of the wedding, of course, it's coming up shortly, and Caroline was mentioning that they wanted to go to the Amalfi Coast for their wedding or for their honeymoon, and they just can't afford it. They're getting married at the Brownstone. They're going to Puerto Rico on their honeymoon. But this is another produced moment. She came up with the idea we should take them to the Amalfi Coast 10 days before the wedding. Caroline did not come up with that idea.
Yeah.
That is so obvious. It insults our intelligence.
Right.
She would never come up with that idea.
Yeah, this is not in her character. But when they told Denise, Vito's mother, she had a genuine reaction. Yes. She did not know about this.
Yes.
So usually with these trips, the production has to plan these trips, and then everyone on the show has to, get clearance, and everyone has to be ready. That the time is off, they're set, they have their up-to-date passports. It's part of the production itself.
Right.
There's a whole producing team that's putting that trip together.
Right.
But this woman did not know. So I was like, okay, maybe this is something that they did kind of put together at the last minute, but you don't think so?
Well, no, I think it was totally produced. But is it possible that they, said the producers told Caroline, you're coming up with this idea that you want to take them to the Amalfi Coast 10 days before the wedding, good conflict, and we'll surprise Denise, but we'll make, maybe they told Denise, you have to have this amount of time blocked off your schedule, not tell her what it is. Mm-hmm. Is that possible? That's possible.
Possibly, yeah.
Because she did seem to have a genuine reaction. You can usually, sniff these things out.
Yeah, I mean, she's not an actress, Right. So, I mean, I believed it, yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, to me, that when they mentioned this trip, they said, oh, that's where they want to go for their honeymoon, as you mentioned. And then Al was like, oh, well, okay, but I'm going to pay. So he's now going to pay for this whole thing. And it's they always give these kids exactly what they want. They don't say, you know what, sometimes in life, I want to go to Tahiti, but it's not going to happen. Right. You know what I mean? They're still getting their honeymoon. She's still getting her wedding. Totally. She's walking down the aisle in $100,000 earrings. Life is good. You don't need to have everything. Yes. But Al, he makes sure that his daughter really does get everything she wants.
That's why it was funny when she's picking out the jewelry and she's like, my father calls me a princess. And then they then they switch to him golfing and he's like, don't let her, he said something funny. I forget what the line was, but it was basically like, don't let her drag you around. So it was funny. So I thought that was good advice from Al giving to Vito, which I kind of didn't really expect because he does treat her like a princess. They do give them everything they want. So I love the flashbacks to Melania in Italy.
Oh, yeah. That was the best part of the episode.
It was.
The nightmare trip. Yeah.
Nightmare. I love seeing Caroline lose it on Melania. And I love Melania. I miss her, and I can't wait to see her next week. And then, so they're having the tasting. The food looks so good. They, said we're going to Positano. They booked it. She said, I want to see, the princess, Lauren, said, everyone's got to be in strapless because I don't want tan lines. And then they do the previews, and Caroline's in a strapless dress.
They do whatever that girl wants.
They really do.
They give her the world.
They really do.
I don't know. It's no secret I'm not the biggest fan of her. So, I mean, I don't have anything against her. Like, I totally get, like, that she's a bride right before the wedding. Like, everything has to be straight and right, and I get it. But, yeah, I mean, like, they just keep going forth with whatever she wants.
Yeah, even the strapless.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of something like that.
I know. Well, you'd be surprised the things that you think of, before the wedding. I guess but I don't even think is she wearing a strapless? I'm trying to remember what her wedding gown looked like. I don't even think the mother was wearing strapless at the wedding, so I don't think it would matter for the mother, but she just does what she says.
Yeah, I don't know if the mother or the bride would show up in a dress like that.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I definitely don't. I'm pretty sure from the pictures I saw, Caroline was not wearing a strapless dress, but she was on vacation because Lauren said so. I guess they just had to appease her before the wedding. Yeah. Speaking of weddings, it doesn't look like, from what we know, because it seems Brittany has a new boyfriend from the research that we were talking about a few episodes ago, but it doesn't look like there'll be a wedding between Al and Brittany anytime soon. What did you think of that scene? Did you think that Brittany seemed uncomfortable, or did you think that she seemed like she was being a little condescending?
Yeah, I don't remember too many details.
So
of
this was the scene
itself.
where they
let me place it.
were having a meal outside on paper plates because it's just Brittany. So
I don't need those paper plates. I don't need those paper plates. But go ahead.
And I think they were having pizza, but so they're chit-chatting. It was Caroline, Lauren, Vito, Albie, and Brittany. And they're just kind of, peppering her with questions. Right. Lauren said in a bit of a condescending, it just felt like a condescending tone. You're an orthodontist assistant. No job is worse than any, we all work, and it's
right.
I don't like snobbery like that. And it seemed a little snobby. There's nothing wrong with being an orthodontist assistant. That's a legit job, and that's something to be proud of.
The whole idea that these people keep talking about, is he going to marry her or not, is totally ridiculous. Yeah. They should feel like foolish even talking about it, because they would just got back together. Maybe. We don't even really know.
Right.
And then, like, the whole writing in the notepad in front of Jacqueline, and then all these conversations, and like, even Albie's like answering the questions seriously, like, I don't have necessarily confidence in myself that I'm in the right place to be able to propose to her. And it's like, well, you'd be making the biggest mistake of your life if you propose to him right now, or propose to her right now. I mean, it's just stupid. So it's hard for me to buy into all of it. It really is.
I feel like it's another insult to our intelligence. Yeah. It's so obvious that she's been cast to be this vixen who the mother and sister don't like to cause conflict. And it's like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
We know you're not really serious, and you're not really going to get married. No. That's for sure.
No, she said she would give it a year with him.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
That's still a lot long enough, because it's all fake.
Right. Right. How long are you going to give it when it's like real?
Yeah. I love the only reason why Caroline doesn't like her is because she called her mama Manzo. Like, that's all we have to go off of.
Right. Right. Like, what has the girl done? Now that I think about it, nothing. They just don't like her for the show, I guess.
I mean, I think it's kind of embarrassing because, like, Albie's such, like, a good guy, and, like, he's, like, he could easily find a girlfriend. So to have this, like, cast girl on the show showing up and stuff, I mean, maybe she isn't. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't think it's a good look. I mean, he could get,
he's adorable. He's nice. Yes.
I would respect it if he said, you know what? I'm not going to put my personal relationships on the show. You can, we'll date I'll date around, on the show, but I have a personal relationship. I want to keep just that.
Yeah.
And I would totally respect that. But
yes.
I mean, that we're having to watch him and her like talk about marriage, and we haven't even seen them do anything.
No, exactly. It's so not believable.
There's no relationship there.
Nothing. Yeah. We're not buying it.
No.
But what we will buy is some news and gossip for Real Housewives of New Jersey. There's not too much news and gossip on Manzo'd, but related.
Yes. Okay.
So we'll go into the news and gossip section.
There you go.
Skip right over predictions because the prediction is they're wearing strapless in Italy.
Yeah.
Unless you have a prediction.
Well, it looks like Al will have some type of breakdown at some point. The emotions will catch up to him as they approach the nuptials.
Okay.
So that will be happening. And Chris, there's like this secret that Chris has that upsets Caroline. And I think it's that he doesn't want to get married or something. And so, of course, that will throw an Italian mother into a fit.
Yes, I think she'll have a problem with that. All right, so speaking of news and gossip, Radar Online is reporting that for season 7, Teresa wants $1 million, and Bravo said no. Did you hear this?
I saw a title, like an article title, but I figured we'd be talking about it, so you're breaking the news to me. Yeah.
Well, she got $750 for last season, and she's probably likely to get $750 to $850 for this season. But I thought they would give her $1 million. Because I think she's a big draw now that she's out of jail. That whole storyline. So
she's an original on the show. She's a top earner. If they paid Nene Leakes all that money to literally do nothing but just sit around and just brag about herself and not even participate, then they can give this girl $1 million because she is a draw. Her participation level has dropped as well. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, she knows she's going to make this money. Mm-hmm. The government has their hand out. She'll play ball more than Nene will.
Yes. Yeah. But so this Radar Online article also said that she wants to be portrayed as kind. She wants to have an ally on the show so that she looks nicer. But I don't know if she's going to be able to do that. If you're going to make $1 million, you're going to have to play along.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. But Kathy might help out in that department. So Kathy's coming back. Teresa.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Why?
Teresa.
Oh, that ruined my whole night.
I'm
you
sorry.
Can... no, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. But no. Her?
Yes.
For what?
Well, her and Teresa.
The poor story producer that has to be responsible for her storyline. I apologize. Whoever you are.
We should send him a gift basket. So Teresa refuses to film with her. She's never forgiven Kathy for calling her mother a liar and her father a coward. So Bravo's trying to cast some friends for Teresa, and she needs allies. And so apparently Jacqueline has stepped up and has, reports claim that Teresa had her attorney reach out to Jacqueline so they could kind of bury the hatchet and reconnect. And so Jacqueline thinks that this will be her way, to negotiate her contract back onto the show. So it's like season 5 all over again.
Well, it sounds like she's using Jacqueline to be relevant on the show and to have like an ally.
Yeah.
And Jacqueline will probably go for it.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, once bitten, the rest.
I feel like they all need the money.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'll play along.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And Melissa was seen filming at her new boutique in Montclair, New Jersey, which is very close to Belleville, New Jersey. So I'll be doing a
drive-by
reconnaissance. Yeah. Yes, like I did with Cafes a couple years ago. So Joe is doing the construction because it was a hair salon, but now it'll be a boutique that sells clothing and accessories, and they need a name. What do you think they should name it? I came up with On Display. I feel like it's so obvious.
Oh my God, yeah, that's what it should be. Easy. Done.
Right, done. Yeah. So that's all the news and gossip.
That's good. I like Melissa. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with her. We haven't seen them in a long time, and she moved back into that house like a year and a half ago, and that still has not been addressed just because there was such a time period for when they taped the last season of New Jersey Housewives and then when they aired it. So it's like these people haven't been taping in a long time. So I'm glad for her with her business. Mm-hmm. She's very polarizing in the housewife community. Some people really don't like her. But
I don't know why.
I like her, yeah. And I want to see what she's going to do on Teresa Checks In. So you'll have to see with us as we look to get this, on the schedule. We're hoping to pair it up with Manzo'd. So, we'll see.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I really want to check out, I feel like being a little visit back to the Real Housewives of New Jersey will be good.
I feel like there's been a Real Housewives of New Jersey drought, and we tried to fill it with this show, but but it'll be so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I want to see I really want to know what's going on with that house that Teresa's, that's been
They're
in
still
foreclosure forever. That house has been in foreclosure forever. I mean, they're still there. I mean, I guess like if there's like a single mother with children, they don't necessarily come in and like pick them out on the street. So in this case, they definitely are strapped, to say the very least.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. But I mean, it's just a crazy world.
It's been going on for a long time. How much longer can they stay there?
Yeah. I mean, if they sold the house, then they go. But because it's just
nobody wants it, and they kept dropping the price. Yeah.
They'll never get my flat house because apparently it's in an area where there's not a lot of big homes.
Right, yeah. I read that too. So it's like, I've never done a drive-by there. I should do one. Yeah. I'll report back. Yeah.
My friend from New Jersey, he went a few times.
Oh, yeah? What did he say?
He said it's a lot of ranch homes, smaller homes, and then there's like this one like big
monstrosity
house.
In the
yeah. And that's why when Melissa, one of my favorite housewife moments ever, and she sent the note to Teresa, a newly redone home, that's because there was an initial structure there of an older home. Oh. It's probably like 4 studs and like a little bit of a foundation.
Right.
Because the house there is so massive, but who knows? But yeah, just enough shade to really piss Teresa off.
Those were good Housewives moments.
I
can't wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, knowing this information about Kathy, I mean, I can wait. I'm going to have to recover from that.
At least Dina's not coming back.
Yeah, no. Still, someone's going to find a storyline for that woman. I'm just glad it's not me.
Well, she's building a house, right? So we can.
Well, it's finished.
Yeah. The Jonas brother finished.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So it's very exciting. So tune in next week because you'll get Manzo'd plus Teresa checks in. So it'll be very exciting. And Grant, where can we find you?
You guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__rants. And you can find me ranting on my podcast, Grants Rants Hollywood Talk. We just did a whole episode about fall TV, and we talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills upcoming season. So check that out.
It's awesome. I've listened to it. So everybody tune in to Grant's Rants.
Thank you.
And this is Fern Ronay. And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fern Ronay, Ronay. And I have a book coming out later this year, the story of a single 29-year-old Manhattan lawyer who's guided in her dreams by her dead Italian grandparents. We don't have a title yet. I can come up with a title for Melissa's story, but I can't come up with a title yet for my book. We're working on it. But please follow me for release information. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Manzo'd After Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.